Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how I took this bike and got it running the best that it's ever ran. Super excited to share this with you because I know you'll be wanting to do it to your own bike, and it's very simple and is not very expensive at all. So it's definitely worth the upgrade here in the future for your bike. So what I'm going to do real quick is I want you to take a look at what I did. So right here, we put a Nibbi carburetor in. It's a 22mm carburetor. And we also put this high flow air filter on here, which looks pretty awesome, but it also flows very well. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get the bike cranked up for you. And I'm gonna show you how quick it revs up now. Here in just a second, I'm going to show you everything they got for us. And we just happened to get really lucky, and we were blessed. They ended up sending us all types of stuff. We got a new quick turn throttle. We got new grips, carburetors, throttle cables. I mean, a little bit of everything. We were very excited about what all they sent. Today's episode is strictly going to be on installing the carburetor and the air filter, along with tuning this carburetor. And I'm going to show you those steps and any tips that I've learned along the way to help you out so that you can get the same results for your bike. So without further ado, I'm going to go and take you through and let you see all the things that Nibbi sent us.
They sent us two different style air filters. I'm putting the foam one on my bike. Kobe's going to run that high flow. Also a foam filter, but a little bit different style. They actually sent new 22mm carburetors. We got a couple of quarter turn twist throttles. X-Pro already has some, but we're gonna try it out and see if they just feel a little bit better than what's already on there with their carburetor. Also got some new grips. That's their lock-on style that they just came out with. They actually sent us some regular grips and some other throttles as well, along with a throttle cable. So I'm going to be putting on the carburetor today, and I'll be testing that out, getting it installed and getting it tuned. And we'll be trying the new air filter also, the one over there on the right. All right, so for taking the carburetor off, you really need to have a swivel. They got a long extension, the 8mm, and then we're using a 10mm. So as you can see, this is the little filter that I put on the bike. And so I used it to try to make sure everything was getting 100% filtered to it, because I thought maybe I was getting a little bit of trash in it or something. That's why it was doing that bogging, but obviously that wasn't the case. So
see how I got the top of the cable? Then you got to push this up and get that to come out of that slot. And then it'll come up and go out that hole. And then all this can come off. Okay.
that don't want to stay on.
I guess it's because we're leaning.
Yeah.
And there it all is.
So the first thing that you want to do with your carburetor, mine was set up perfect, but I just want to make sure that this one is also. What we're going to do is I'm going to take this cap off. And I'll remove the spring. And I'm gonna check this. And so what I'm looking for is to make sure that this is on the 4th setting. And so as you can see, well, here we go. It's kind of hard for you to tell, but there are notches on this needle. And so on the needle, where these notches are on the inside here, you'll see that there are 5 settings that you can put your needle on. And mine is on the 4th. And I double checked, this one is on the 4th, so I should be good to go. That's the same way my bike's set up.
All right, so this got to go on first.
Let me hold something.
Yeah, I don't want to put that on the floor.
All right.
I gotta get that rubber over there. There we go. So I push it up as far as it'll go.
Okay.
All right, now. Now, make sure you run the cable on the inside of the spring. And I'm just trying to hold all that in there. And then I'm gonna take this, make sure it gets in the slot. Oh, I missed the ring. It's gotta go through this ring too. It's gotta go through that plastic ring also. So it's in the center like that, or it'll bind up. And then you just get your spring in there where it's supposed to be. And it's ready to screw on over.
All right. I'm gonna make sure that you put it the same way. That way you got the correct amount of flow to your intake. Because if you flip it upside down, you're only getting half of what it's supposed to be, or like a third. So just make sure that that gasket doesn't get flipped over whenever you go to put your flange onto it. Twist your throttle, because if it's not working all the way and you're only getting like half a turn, something ain't right. So what you gotta do is undo this. More than likely what happened is the slide hadn't gone all the way down. So we're gonna make sure that this slide goes all the way down. There it goes. So don't let your slide get 180 degrees out, because if it does, it's not going to go down far enough. So now I got full turn of my throttle. So you can see I got everything. A while ago I was only getting a quarter turn, so make sure that that slide goes how it's supposed to, because if you don't, and it's 180 degrees out, it is not going to do what you need it to do. So now we got it. So here's the new filter we're gonna put on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and spray a little foam filter oil in there. Got some of this. Alright.
I like that. It's got foam on the inside, huh?
Spray that stuff on. Here's the moment of truth. We're gonna crank this thing up and see what happens. Let me choke it. Looks cool, but you can see it's not running without choke on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a little bit more fuel. So if you look at the golden screw to the left of the end, I'm going to turn that to the right, and I'm also going to turn the big red knob a little bit to the right, and it should bring the idle up just a hair. I'm gonna let y'all watch that process as I do that very quickly. All right, so what you gotta do is you gotta really wait about 2 minutes for this to warm all the way up. Once it's all the way warm, then you can start adjusting on it. What I'm going to try to adjust out is make sure that I don't have any bog off of idle. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to turn the idle screw in pretty much as far as it can go, and then I'm going to come out about a turn and a quarter to a turn and a half is what I had to do on my bike, and then I just adjusted the idle up just a hair to the point to where I can be just idling and completely open the throttle up and not have any bog at all or any hesitation. And so that's the goal. And so I'm going to get it to do that here in just a minute. And I'm going to try to adjust this camera to where you can see what I'm doing. All right, so right now you can hear, as soon as you give it throttle, you hear it, whoa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start giving it a little bit more fuel. Like I said, I'm going to turn it all the way in. As you do this, you're going to have to adjust your idle up a little bit because it's going to want to die. So I'm here. You can see, well, it's hard to tell in here, but I do have a little bit of smoke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back just a little bit at a time and try in little small increments and try to dial it in as best as I can. Like I said, you got to have enough idle, so make sure you keep adjusting that idle. right to the right, came to the left where it started idling a little bit higher, and then I started working the throttle. And so what I did with the throttle was to try to see when it was bogging. And so if it's bogging, normally what that means is you're a little bit lean. In this case, because I know that I don't have too much carburetor, sometimes it can mean that you have way too much fuel coming, but I knew that I was a little lean. So what I did was I turned up the idle just a hair, and then continued to dial in the air to fuel ratio by turning the screw to the left of the end, a little bit to the right. And so now we've been running for about 2 minutes, probably more, about like 5 minutes. But anyways, check what I got. Pretty good. I'm finna go give it a test ride. That's how you install the 22mm Nibbi Carburetor on your x-prostorm, and that's also how you adjust the idle and tune that carburetor so that you can have no bog. So I hope that you enjoyed this. On the next episode, I'll be installing the quick twist throttle, the quick twist. Goodness. On the next episode, I'll install the quick twist throttle. That was a tongue twister. Catch y'all next time.